Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. My name is Ryan. Today we're going to be doing a blind of a non-Kentucky bourbons. So I gave my wife a list of bourbons that are either on my shelf or sample bottles that have been sent in by viewers and Patreon members and things of the sort. So I gave her a long list of stuff to choose from. She's poured 4 of them. I don't know what's in there. I don't even know what's on the table. So we'll give them a shot. We'll just kind of blind them. I'll rank them from my favorite to least favorite, and then we'll reveal what they are. But obviously when I edit the video, I will have known by that point what these have been, so I will make sure to put them on the screen for you so that you know what I'm tasting while I don't. Sound good? Let's dive right into it. Let's just hit the ground running here. Start with A. Get in here on the nose. First thing I get hit with is this red fruit note, almost like a bright red cherry, maybe even a strawberry. I'm leaning towards strawberry. It reminds me of those like strawberries and cream gummies. Remember when we were kids, they had these like little strawberry cream thingies. They were chewy. They had like pink on the top and white on the bottom. They're sort of button shaped. I don't know if you remember these. They were delicious. This reminds me of those on the nose. Yeah, very sweet. A little bit of seasoned oak in here as well. And there's this sort of soft, savory note that's making me think of fresh baked bread. Let's try it. I gotta say that like strawberries and cream note is super prominent on the palate. It's a very fruity, very sweet. I would be shocked if this was more than 100 proof. There's even like a sort of, remember those Jones sodas? I don't even know if they're probably still around, but I haven't had them in forever. I think when I was a teenager, it was like really popular to have all those Jones flavored sodas. This reminds me of like the strawberry, cream soda that Jones used to have. Yeah, it's got this sort of like bubbly carbonated note to it, but also very fruity, very sweet. I do have one complaint. This is a little too watered down. Like I said, I would be surprised if this was a more than 100 proof. It's really good, but I kind of want a little bit more body to it. And I feel like even just 10 more proof points on this would probably take this from decent to really good, really fast. But either way, this is a good pour. I like it. Take notes as I go so I don't forget. Okay, glass B. First thing I get hit with on the nose here is a big wave of licorice. Black licorice. Makes me think of a leather belt. Yeah, like tanned animal hide. You know, I'm not a smoker. I've never been a smoker, but I do remember trying cigars with a relative of mine who takes cigars very seriously and let me try some pretty top shelf cigars. It wasn't like your Swisher Sweets or anything. I decided it really wasn't for me, and I've never gone back to them. But this reminds me on the nose of that sweet tobacco air from smoking a cigar. And obviously I catch a whiff of that smell every now and then when I'm around others who are enjoying a cigar with their drinks. Sweet tobacco. Well, let's give it a shot. It's a lot sweeter on the palate than I was expecting. I was kind of expecting a whole bunch of just like leather and smoke, and that is still there, no doubt about it. Leather and smoke still here, especially on the finish. That tobacco and licorice note kind of sits on the finish for a while, but there's this big wave of sweetness right up front before we ever get to that finish. It's like graham crackers and honey. I like that. I like that a lot. This has got a lot more proof to it than the last one. This one I would say is probably around between 110 and 120 would be my guess. If it's lower than that, it's drinking way above its proof. All right, heck yeah, let's move on to the next one. All right, glass C. The nose is extremely nutty, like cashews and walnut. Yeah, cashews and walnuts. And there's definitely a sweetness to it that makes me think of just light butterscotch. You know what really makes me think about the nose? A really underrated ice cream flavor, butter pecan. Makes me think of butter pecan ice cream. Everybody sleeps on it. They call it an old man flavor, and I'm not ashamed to say I friggin' love it. There's almost like a vermouthy sort of fortified wine note on it as well. Kind of underneath that nuttiness. Yeah, it makes me think of a Manhattan. You know, that sort of funky wine mixed with whiskey. Yeah, good Manhattan. I love a good Manhattan. This makes me think of a good Manhattan. All right, let's try it. Cheers. I mean, it's like a perfect translation of nose to palate. Those sweet mixed nuts come back around at the tail end of the mid palate and then into the finish. It gets extended, but the main sort of bulk of the palate is kind of dominated by that vermouthy note, that fortified wine note, a little funky grape. Again, I want 10 more proof points on this. I think we're back down in bottled and bond range. And I think this is really good, but it's leaving me wanting a little bit more out of it. You know what I'm saying? Kind of similar to the first pour today. Give me 10 more proof points and let some of those nutty flavors kind of get a little bit more base, a little bit more body to them to complement the sweet fortified wine note. And I think you've got a banging sip right there. The more I sip on it, the more I think I know who distilled this. I think I know whose juice this is. All right, let's move on to the last one. All right, Glass D. First thing I get is maraschino cherries and a smidgen of orange zest. But there's also this like nice sort of spicy oak in there, a little bit of like wet white peppercorn, that tannic spicy oak. But it's like well-seasoned oak. I could be way off base. This could be a 4-year-old product, but I think it's probably twice that in terms of oak influence on this. Let's try it. Cheers. Again, soft. I think we're back down in that bottled and bond range yet again. Not that that's a bad thing. That seasoned oak is really, I think, carrying this quite a bit. I think the star of the show is definitely that more mature oak that's on there. But there's a little bit of that cherry note as well, and some good creamy butterscotch that are sort of kind of quintessential bourbon notes, I think, and just complemented by that oak. I think this is like something that's not hyper complex. It's fairly basic, but executed quite well. Yeah, that's pretty good. All right, let me revisit these real quick, and then I'll come up with my final rankings, and we'll reveal what they are. Sound good? Okay, I have solidified my rankings here. None of these were particularly bad, but some were definitely better than others. I think in last place here, 4th place is going to have to go to Glass A. So Glass A is going to take 4th place. This is one we said we got strawberries and cream, a little bit of seasoned oak, that Jones soda, but then I felt like the nose I really appreciated, but the palate was really diluted. I wanted more out of it. I think they over diluted it. You know what I mean? And then, so 3rd place we're going to give to Glass D. So 3rd place goes to Glass D. That was the one that we said we got maraschino cherries, a little bit of orange zest, a lot of seasoned oak that sort of carried that sip. It wasn't hyper complex, but it was well executed and enjoyable to drink. 2nd place is going to go to the butter pecan ice cream and Manhattan with the funky grape, Glass C. So 2nd place goes to Glass C. Can I make a prediction? I think that is Eastern Kill distillate. And I've got like 4 different Eastern Kill bottles right now. I've got like their standard bottled and bond. I've got their cognac finish, vermouth finish, and tawny port finish. And I actually had their breakfast rye too, but that wouldn't have been eligible. So I've got several bottles of theirs. But they're a Michigan distillery near me. And I've just had enough of their stuff that I think that's what that is their distillate. But considering we were getting some funky grape, I'm guessing it's got to be either the vermouth, tawny port, or cognac finished. So anyways, I did say vermouth, so maybe it is the vermouth one. But anyways, that means 1st place goes to Glass B, the one that we said we got leather and licorice, sweet tobacco, graham crackers, and honey on the palate, and that smoky leather finish. Loved that sip. It was a great sip. I enjoyed it quite a bit. So yeah, that's where I'm going to land with the rankings. And now let's reveal them and see what they ended up being. Sound good? We'll start with last place, which was Glass A. Glass A. This is the Ben Holiday Bottled and Bond. Really? I would have expected that to do better. But maybe it's just because, well, to be fair, I was loving the notes I was getting on it. I just thought it was a little too diluted. And this here comes in, it's bottled and bond, so it comes in 100 proof. And that's kind of, I think what I said. I said I'd be surprised if it was more than 100. And yeah, I think if they had more proof on it, if they didn't dilute it as much, I feel like some of those notes would come through a little bit more strongly. But otherwise, I really enjoyed the sip, and I really enjoyed those flavor profiles. I just wanted more out of it. Cool. I don't remember off the top of my head who sent that in. Shoot. And neither here nor there. Let's go to 3rd place, which was Glass D. That is the Widow Jane 13 year. That's 93 proof. I should note, the whole idea here is that these are not Kentucky bourbons. So Ben Holiday is Missouri, correct? And then Widow Jane, I think they do some of their own distilling, but they also source. So I think like Baby Jane is their own stuff, right? Or like a mix. But the 13 year is actually a single barrel, and I'm pretty sure it's MGP. So technically, I think it's Indiana distillate, aged in New York, and then proofed down. I think that's one of their like pride points, is that they proof things down with water out of like a specific mine or aquifer or something in upstate. And I don't remember the name of the mine off the top of my head. But Widow Jane 13 year, and I reviewed this earlier, and I was not big on it. Because I thought it was too diluted. And it's like, it really is a bit of a bummer to have something that has that much age and maturity on it, and then to dilute a lot of the flavor out of it. I just don't think was the right play. And I stand by that. I said today that it was kind of just being carried by mature oak, 13 years on it, right? That kind of makes sense. But other than that, it was just a little too weak. 93 proof on a 13-year-old whiskey. So that's a bummer, but also not too surprising. Shall we move on to second place? This is the one that I said was Eastern Kill. If I had to fall off the log, I'd say it was the vermouth finish. But let's see. It is Eastern Kill Cognac finish. Okay, yeah. Again, I said I want a little more proof out of it. All of these have been low proof so far. This is 100 proof. It is finished in cognac casks, and it is their own distillate. So it's distilled right here in Michigan. I really like Eastern Kill. If you are a member of our Patreon community and you're in our bottle share, this is what I sent out to everybody. Not this specific bottle, it was the Tawny Port. But if you are in the bottle share, you get to try some Michigan distillate. So because this is what I sent out to everybody who's in the bottle share. So I'll be interested to hear your guys' thoughts on Eastern Kill as well. And that butter pecan ice cream note, I get that all the time on Eastern Kill stuff. It's one of the most telltale signs that it is what it is to me personally. So I'll be interested if you guys pick up on that as well. It'd be fun to do that in the bottle share. So I think everything's been sent out. So we're just waiting on everybody to get their shipments, and then we can get cranking on that. Maybe even as early as next week. We'll see. But I'm very excited for it. And then that means first place. I don't know what this is, by the way. I do not know. I've got a lot of stuff in sample bottles that people have sent. I don't think this made me think of anything that's on my shelf. You know what I mean? It didn't make me think of anything that I already have open and am familiar with. So there's a pretty good chance that this was sent in by somebody, and I have no idea what to expect. But let's see what first place was. Glass B. Oh, interesting. This is Smoke Wagon. This is a private barrel. So that means it would have been sent in from Randy. I think Randy sent this in. Thanks, brother. Appreciate you. Smoke Wagon, private barrel, 114.8 proof. So this had basically 15 proof points on the next highest thing in the blind today. And maybe that's a bit of an unfair advantage, because I do really, for me, like between 110 and 130 is sort of my sweet spot for proof when it comes to personal preference. Not all the time. Some of my like daily sippers are right at that bottled and bond 100 proof point. But I do like things that have a little bit more base and body to them. This Smoke Wagon private barrel comes in at 114.8 proof. This is the one we got the licorice and the leather and the sweet tobaccos. And that totally makes sense. So they are Las Vegas, Nevada, right? Aren't they in Nevada? Pretty sure they're a Vegas company. They do some of their own distilling, but I'm pretty sure the Smoke Wagon stuff that we get on shelves and the private barrels and stuff, I'm pretty sure that's Indiana distillate, but they age it in the Nevada heat. So it has a lot of evaporative loss, and then picks up a lot of those, which is, maybe is why they named themselves Smoke Wagon, because it picks up some of those leathery notes in the heat and with all the evaporation. So that totally makes sense to me. But that's going to take first place in the blind today, which I've never had a Smoke Wagon that really blew me away. I've never had a Smoke Wagon bottle that was bad. I've never had a pour of Smoke Wagon and thought, wow, don't like this. But at the same time, I've never had a pour of a Smoke Wagon whiskey and thought to myself, this is incredible, I gotta have a bottle of this. This is the first one I think that I'm like, yeah, I'd totally get down with that. I like that a lot. So kudos, Randy. Maybe you can put in the comments, you said this is a private barrel. Who did the pick on this? Let me know. Awesome. Well, with that, I will say thank you very much for watching the video. And as always, one of my favorite things to see on blinds is put in the comment section the order that you think, based off of what you've tasted before, based off of my tasting notes and your own personal preferences. Put in the comment section what you think your ranking would have been from first to last of these 4 specific pours. Thank you so much for watching. Feel free to leave a like on the videos. That's the best free way to support the content right here on YouTube. We'd love to get to know you. You can join our free Discord. The link is in the description. And if you decide you like our community and you want to dive deeper, you can then access our Patreon as well. The base tier is just $1. It's literally dirt cheap. But yeah, so different tiers have access to different benefits, including things like virtual bottle shares, private videos. One of those went up this week. And we'd love to get to know you. So get involved. Say hello. Introduce yourself. Cheers, my friends. And this is a sample that I need to review soon. This is this year's Shanks. I just grabbed the closest thing to me, and that's what it was. So anyways, cheers, my friends. May you live richly and get better with age. And I hope to catch you in the next one. Bye-bye.